Good, whatever, afternoon, morning, evening, everyone. As it says, Tatiana Ginzburg, unfortunately, Linda could not be presenting. She is now, in fact, on her way to London. So I'm faced with two presentations. These are, this data is basically from Linda and the junior author here, but I'll do my best to present to get the whole idea to you. And then, unfortunately, I'll have to go to another room to present my research as well. So here is the idea. University of Latvia, just as many other universities, I understand, went into emergency teaching, emergency remote mode back in spring 2020. And then, due to various reasons, we've had various lockdowns, just like many others. The thing that surprised us was that in fall 20, students didn't want to go online. And then when they were given an opportunity to come back to face in spring of that year, they actually refused to go back to classrooms, which for graduate students is not that typical, I understand, from whatever I've heard from around the world. So for some reasons, they've decided that that's what they like, sitting online. On the other hand, the university needs to understand most importantly where to invest, because that's something that will lead to certain consequences and commitments, financial commitments. So the university wanted to get some ideas what students think about their experience in learning online. So we conducted two surveys of students, one in the fall and autumn of 2020, and one in spring of 2021. And students surveyed were those who studied at Faculty of Education, Psychology and Arts. So this is the data of students, quite a large number of respondents for both rounds of surveys. What came out was slightly surprising, I must say. Now, speaking of the general or general opinion about online remote learning, here please note that the lower the mark, the lower the mean, the better. So this is the first round. This is the second round, and their responses are not that very different, surprisingly. So they consider that this facilitates learning in general, and as you can see, there is no significant difference in the way they think of remote learning in general. Speaking about teaching methods used, so again, there is not that much difference. Okay, there is slight improvement in, there are more self-testing activities used in the second round in spring, but not that much. The combination, the blended learning, unfortunately, I would say, because that's my topic, has even decreased, and that's all self-reported. That's how students saw this, their experience. They were also asked about activities, what kind of activities they needed to do in remote learning. And again, there is not so much different, slightly more. They had to prepare practical presentations, develop practical work. There is some more visible improvement in terms of how students perceived the work of the professors, basically. And an interesting thing, I believe, is that, their digital skills, how they assess their digital competences, is also nothing has changed that dramatically. There is a slight increase in how they see their own digital competences developing. In the second round, with the time going on and more online classes, basically their basic digital skills are still the same. The ability to code and to use educational robotics, and remember these are student teachers, some of them, not psychologists, but some of them, that has increased slightly. And the abilities to, develop learning materials and create videos, they've also learned. Basic conclusions that they see themselves as, they see that their opinion about remote learning is slightly more positive according to the survey. Perhaps that's the reason why they didn't want to come back to classes, to face-to-face classes. They generally consider that their competences, digital competences, are good, at least in simple tasks. Surprisingly, though, they were asked about anything else that they believe they've improved, and that's what they report. They somehow thought that they are better, they became better at time management, self-directed learning, cooperating digitally, and how to give, giving feedback digitally. So that's basically this. Again, the idea is, the question I think remains, why, despite all this, the students didn't want to come back to physical classroom. They believe that they're quite fine in sitting online, and I think that's quite unusual for undergraduate students. I think that's it. Thank you. Any comments and questions?
Thank you, Tatiana. I know you have to go quickly. Do we have time for one question, if anybody has any?
Yeah, sure.
Linda.
Just a really minor comment, not so much a question, but I love the fact that there was a question asked of the students about an increasing sense of meaninglessness. I do love that question.
Easy for you to say, yeah.
No, really interesting. Thank you, Tatiana. I know you've got to rush, but
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Really useful for us to have a look at the slides. I think there's some really interesting data there. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm moving to the other room.
Thank you, Tatiana.